Hello and welcome to Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast, the show where two former roommates
And they were roommates.
talk about a new movie every week. This week on the show, we're talking about Arrival.
There are days that define your story beyond your life. Like the day they arrived.
Signs of what might be called first contact. The objects measure at least.
I'm Colonel G.T. Webb from Army Intelligence. Pack your bags. You're at the top of everyone's list when it comes to translations. Priority 1. What do they want? Where are they from? You'll be reporting to me, but you'll be working with him when you're in the show.
That's what they call in the UFO.
Who's being carted off in the medevac?
Not everyone is wired for what you're about to do.
So what do they look like?
You'll see soon enough.
Every 18 hours, a door opens up. That's where we go in.
From director Denis Villeneuve. You like that, Kody?
Good pronunciation. I like
Good
that.
pronunciation. Thank you. So this is obviously Cody's pick. Kody, why did you pick this movie? Tell us about it. Tell us about Arrival.
I don't know why I picked this movie. It is one of my favorites, I think, just of all time. But I don't know how I really got introduced to it. It was released pretty recently, I believe 2016, which is kind of a stacked year for movies. It had this, as the obvious
Great year.
Moonlight, La La Land. I was looking at the Oscars because I think it got snubbed for a couple. It's actually a pretty good year of movies, so I wasn't too mad about it. I saw The Lobster was another movie that came out this year, which I know you
Great
like.
movie.
But yeah, why I picked this movie, I don't know. I just love it. I think it is. I think it is my favorite movie. And the thing about it is, every time I watch it, it just makes me cry. And I'm not a crier. I'm not a crier at all. And this movie just gets me every time. So yeah, I just really wanted to talk about this movie. Honestly, it's one of my favorites. Yeah, I do want to hear your initial thoughts first, because I have a lot of thoughts. But I think when in the past, when we have talked about this movie, I have talked about this movie a lot, and I raved it, and I haven't heard a ton from you. So I am very interested in what you think about this movie. So yeah, go for it.
This is my third time seeing this movie, and I will say that it is. I feel like it's the best on the second watch. It was really good the first time I saw it, but I still is just like, it's one of those things where like you have to come back to it to like really get that full experience. Like after, obviously there's a twist at the end, and like, or you could say there's a twist at the beginning. And I think the second watch, like when you fully just like immerse yourself in that and like pay attention to that, you can really appreciate it. And it's like a fantastic movie. Then watching it the third time, you start to like really get like nitpicky and pay attention to like some of the background fluff that gets in there, and it was a little bit less of an enjoyable experience. I also just watched this movie like a month and a half ago, the last time I watched it, because I showed it to my mom over the summer, so it was pretty recent as well. So I paid a little bit more attention to like maybe some of the stupid stuff that we'll talk about here in a second. For me, the beginning of this movie is a little slow. Like it's a slow burn, definitely to start. Like it does a good job of building up anticipation and kind of that tension. But if you take like the first 30 minutes, like the aliens arrive, but nothing really happens. You just see like Amy Adams like being kind of whiny about stuff, and then eventually she goes. But then it gets to a point where like they start to figure out the language, and it really speeds up, and like the last little bit is like just fantastic. The look of the aliens themselves, and the look of the design of the language, the design of the spaceships is just like amazing and like extremely well done. I think those spaceships are pretty like iconography for this movie, just like super recognizable. If you just see that spaceship, like, oh, that's Arrival. And then we talked about the twist there for a second. Like I just think it's one of like the great twists in all of movies. Like I'd say it's top 10 easily, maybe top 5.
High ranking for all time twist. That is funny. Yeah, I'd say it's up there for that. I feel like there aren't too many crazy twists. Maybe Empire is the one that comes up to mind. Yeah, just bouncing off a lot of what you said. I think this is also the third time that I've watched this movie, so that's kind of weird, but a little bit different from you. I haven't seen it for a while because I think I watched it the first time, and then like a couple days later, I was like, dude, I gotta watch this shit again, just to like try to recapture everything. So yeah, sort of. I was just coming into it like, obviously I know what happens, but I didn't see it for a while, so I was a little bit nostalgic, and I did really like it the third time as well. Also, I kind of disagree with what you're saying about it. It is a tad slow in the beginning. This movie's only, I think, like an hour and 50 minutes long, so it's not super long for other similar movies you could compare it to. I think the first probably like 15-20 minutes is just character building, sort of that, Amy Adams kid has cancer, blah blah blah. But I think it's just good to get to know her a little bit, because I think this is literally just her movie. I was looking at the cast of this movie, and it's very strange to me when there's only like literally 3 actors in the entire thing who actually have more than like 5 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't even notice that when you're watching it either. I think I was just so entrenched with the story they were telling. And yeah, obviously, I'm just gonna say out front, I think this is my favorite movie. It might be my favorite performance just from a single actor of all time, from Amy Adams. And I think it might be, I don't know if it is my favorite musical score, but it is a very, very good musical score.
That first moment you see the
Mhm.
spaceship and like the music, that like droning, I don't know if it's like a violin or something, but like
Mhm.
that is just so it is really good, like in that moment specifically, but throughout is just great.
I agree. Also, bouncing off what you said, the design is just so cool, so unique. Uh, I think this was adapted off of a book, but I don't think they got the visual style from it at all. I think Denis Villeneuve is just sort of a master in that compartment of this movie. And then yeah, also just like, you think it is going to be like one of these scary alien movies. I feel like in that first 30 minutes, when they go up into that thing, like I'm expecting someone to die, like it's a horror movie or something. But I don't know, it just takes like a complete turn into an actual linguistic political movie, which I think is a really difficult choice from a director. But I mean, obviously, I love it a lot. And then yeah, that sort of I did want to talk about the twist as well. The time aspect, I love so much of this movie. I could probably do like a 5-hour essay of just like the time aspect and how brilliant it is on the third watch, especially because obviously like time is distorted a little bit in this movie, but on the first watch you obviously don't know that. And yeah, just I don't know, dude. I could talk forever about it, and it's just one of my favorite things. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts. I'm very high on it, if you can't tell. But you got any more initial thoughts?
No, I mean, I just want to reiterate that Amy
Mhm.
Adams is really incredible in this movie.
So good.
I'm sure we can get into that a little bit later, but let's move on to the stupidest part.
You stupid.
I think I probably have a little bit more than you, so I'll get started with the first thing, and we can kind of bounce back and forth here.
Mhm.
This one's a little nitpicky, but when Amy Adams first goes into her classroom at the beginning of the movie, everybody's cell phone is just on. Everybody's got their sound on. What are we doing, people? How many people have their sound on? I don't know anybody that keeps their phone sound on all the time, especially when they're in class. Like, I know an emergency's happening, but they just got phones going off left and right, making noises. It sounds like some movie making bullshit to me.
Let me ask you a question though. If an alien encounter was happening on Earth, would you even go to class in the first place?
Probably
Would you?
not. But if you're
Exactly.
going to class, I mean, like, you decided to go to class, but you're going to leave your phone sound on. Like, just be on your phone. Like, I don't know. It seems like a strange choice.
Yeah, I feel like that wasn't even like any updates or news. It was just like probably their mom or somebody being like,
Texting
"Hey,
them,
do you see this going on?" Like, you can have that on silent. It's not an emergency. Yeah, that is pretty nitpicky. My first one was a little bit more broad. I didn't have any like nitpicky stuff like that. But just sort of the idea that's being presented that America is sort of like the only competent people to be able to like connect and talk to these aliens. It's just sort of an idea that I think is maybe a little bit arrogant, a little bit dumb. Denis does have some conflicting stuff later in the movie where Americans are kind of just these bullheaded idiots who want to attack everything. but I mean, it is sort of presented as,
It's very
America.
pro-Western. Yeah, like America's the best. We've got the
of course, we have the
Chinese can't
best
figure it out.
scientists.
Yeah.
No, like the Russians they're just animals as well. They're going to attack it as well.
Mhm.
So I thought that was kind of dumb. Sort of like we're the only country smart enough to communicate with them. Also, something I thought that was really funny, but is kind of dumb as well. China was supposedly trying to teach the aliens how to talk using mahjong tiles, which is really funny, but it is also kind of a little disrespectful, I think, saying that Chinese scientists would use mahjong tiles. But yeah, I thought that was pretty dumb.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it does like a weird back and forth thing with that, because it's kind of like pro-American, but then at the same time it's got this like, well, we've got like crazy idiots here who are like gonna go and blow up these aliens, and also our government never listens. And moving on to my next stupidest part is how much I cannot stand Forrest Whitaker's character, and like how every decision he makes in this movie is just dumb. First of all, he shows up and he talks to Amy Adams, and her like being like, I need to be there on site, like to talk to these aliens, isn't good enough for him. He says, no, this is your only chance. And he leaves. And then she does the whole like, oh, ask what the Sanskrit word for war is thing, which I don't even really think that proves anything, because Forrest Whitaker's character doesn't know what it is either way. So then he comes running back to Amy Adams and he's like, oh, just kidding, we will take you to the aliens. And then he's like, no, don't teach them how to say words. We don't need to figure out, just ask them what their purpose is. Like, bro, what do you mean? You don't speak the same language as them. He's just like repeatedly dumb and like will not listen to Amy Adams when it's like very clear she's trying to build to something. And he's just like all over the place. Like, why can't you just ask them the question right now after one session? It's like, what are you talking? Like, can you understand? Like, what? Oh, and like when he shows up, he like plays her an audio recording. He's like, translate this. And she's like, I can't. He's like, well, you could do it with Farsi. And like, that's a real language that people speak and you can learn. Like, this is just these are aliens. Like, what is she supposed to do?
Maybe so Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, that is dumb. Maybe he was like, maybe these aren't aliens and she should be able to talk to them. They're just people from a different country. That is a very good point. The government, I think in general, is just a bunch of idiots. They don't make any good decisions, really.
Yeah.
Amy Adams is clearly trying to help, just try to, create some simple words of communication with these beings. And they pretty much do everything possible to get in the way of that.
Honestly.
So yeah, I do back that. My other dumb part was, I feel like it's the obvious dumb part, the American guys, loading up the TNT and just, shooting it in there for no reason. I think you were right in Denis sort of going both ways, because the government just, a complete group of idiots. Even at the end, when
those seem like some Trump supporters. What do you think?
No comment.
QAnon people.
You're not wrong, but
the topical movie.
At the end, when they're leaving, when they're evacuating or whatever, and Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner are just like talking. They're like, we did everything good. Look at these idiots. Like, what are they doing? Like, even they're acknowledging like they're working with a bunch of idiots, which I think is funny. But yeah, I don't really have anything major being dumb in this movie. I think we can nitpick at some American political ideas a little bit, but other than that, I think it's pretty solid from script wise. You got anything else?
The only thing that I don't know, I don't like that much is I think the whole Jeremy Renner, Amy Adams like love story is kind of forced to me.
No chance.
Like I don't I just don't think their relationship really has like any like in reality they work together a ton, and like there's probably a lot you don't see on screen, but like in terms of like major moments that happen, like there doesn't seem to be any like rapport building or like relationship building beyond like, oh, they're meant to be together and like this is the moment they're meant to live together, which then they end up splitting up because he can't handle that their daughter's gonna die. So that's tough. But
R.I.P.
I just don't think I like Jeremy Renner that much, to be honest.
That's fair. I think
Amy
the
Adams
relationship
could be better.
That's definitely true. Yeah, maybe the relationship is a tiny bit forced. I'd probably disagree with you on that on most of what you said. Jeremy Renner, just great guy. I'm a big fan. I think they do have little moments just building up. I love the scene. I might talk about it later in performance where Jeremy Renner, admits her love for her or whatever. I think that's a great scene, and I think it's built up to that the entire movie. Yeah, I guess I could see where you're coming from. Not really though.
I also think it's just because like maybe in the script it's almost supposed to be like he's this like really nerdy dude that like kind of like is like swooning after a little bit and like has had a crush on her the whole time. But I don't know, Jeremy Renner doesn't play the super nerdy astrophysicist super well.
He's a scientist. Yeah, he doesn't look smart. Jeremy Renner really doesn't look smart, if we're being honest. He kind of looks like an idiot.
He doesn't look very sharp. I think that's the problem.
They try to give him glasses too to look smarter, and he kind of just makes him look dumber, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it
Keep
does
the
not
glasses
work.
off. Yeah.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and move into our favorite scene?
She is very gorgeous to me.
Kody, why don't you get us started?
Yeah, I got a couple scenes here. The one you mentioned, the first visual of the spaceship, I do think that's pretty iconic. It's got to be up there for best scene. And then basically I'm just going straight to the end here. My two favorite scenes. The first off is the General Chang scene. I think that's just very, very well edited, just cutting back and forth between those 2 points in time of her talking to him at the banquet and then her, running away and calling him. I don't know. I think I did some research into it actually, and I actually looked up what the line was in Mandarin. Do you want to hear it, or did you do your own research yet?
Well, it was gonna be one of my trivia questions. Here. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna spoil it early because this is beautiful. This is beautiful, beautiful stuff here. The backstory, one of the writers who came up with this line, whatever, he put it in. When he put it in, he actually thought Denis Villeneuve was going to put subtitles. So he actually put some serious work into this. And
he worked really hard on it, to like come up with the perfect.
So the translation, I'm going to cut to the chase here. It's in war, there are no winners, only widows. And I'll tell you what, that's beautiful. If I was, General Chang, I'd probably change my line too. I think it's Chang, isn't it?
It's with an S.
Well, I typoed. I looked it up because I specifically wanted to get it right. And I just looked it wrong. But anyway, that's a great scene. But my favorite scene is obviously the ending. It's perfect in every single way. The building score, that's what gets me crying, dude. The score. Every time I hear that, I just start tearing up. I mean, dude, just going through like those choices, like, I don't know, dude. You put yourself in Amy Adams' shoes. Like, that is a tough decision. She did leave Jeremy Renner out of it, which is kind of tough. I also don't know any of the characters' names, by the way. That's probably not good. But
Louise, she has a dumb
Louise.
name. Louise.
Yeah, that is a stupid name.
And Ian.
Ian. I know Abbott and Costello. I know them. But yeah, dude, the ending is just so good. Just heart wrenching. I mean, the scene where she's talking to her daughter, saying, she's unstoppable, and then just all the way around to her and Jeremy Renner, coming together. I think it's beautiful, beautiful cinema. And it's sort of the stuff that, I want to see more. Just the conclusion of that, I think, was done so perfectly from my boy Denis. Just to have this, like, such a closed story, but it has, like, such a massive scope. And then it just has a perfect ending as well. But yeah, I would say those are my two favorite scenes. What do you think about those?
Those are good. The only thing I would add is just like, I think the first scene when you first see the aliens for the very first time is really great because it's just like you have no idea what to expect, what they look like, and they're just like super unique design, and then they like shoot the ink out and make the letters, and I think it's just really cool. And then as well as like the next time when Amy Adams like takes her suit off to then like talk to the aliens and the birds chirping, and you obviously get the call back to that later with the daughter's drawings, but I just really like those interactions between them and the aliens. Like any of those moments are my favorite in the entire film, I would say.
Absolutely. The one at the end too, where she like actually goes face to face with it. That's sick as well visually. Because you can actually like sort of see, the top of them as well.
Yeah.
You didn't
Abbott
see.
is death process.
His death process. Some broken English, but still really good stuff, I think.
All right, we'll move on to can act.
Wow.
I'll get us started here. I
Go
think
for
there's
it.
I mean, we've already mentioned it. There's an obvious easy choice here. Amy Adams, absolutely robbed of an Academy Award. Probably she didn't even get nominated, right?
She wasn't even nominated. No.
Yeah,
How is that
absolutely
possible?
robbed of a nomination. Extremely great. I mean, the script is really great in this, and it's like a super unique idea. But in all honesty, like Amy Adams carries this movie, and put anybody else in her role. And I don't know if this movie is the same, and I don't think it's as good. I don't know if anybody else pulls it off quite in the same way that she does. Perfect balance of just like the raw emotion and just like also just she plays smart well. It's believable that she's actually smart and that like the stuff she's saying she actually knows. I think like because the trick of the movie is that at the beginning of the movie you see like her daughter die and you think the whole time that this is the past, it's already happened. Right. But in reality, it's just like Amy Adams is seeing into the future as she begins to learn the language and yada, 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 whatever timey-wimey BS. But I think it does a really good job of like showing, because it seems like she's really struggling with this like rough past, which she probably has had some sort of past that isn't favorable. But she does a good job of like, when the reveal happens, it's like, oh, this is all the future. But like she was still being pretty emotional. And I don't know, it's a really tough balancing act for an actress, especially like shooting out of order and trying to keep track of all this stuff. And like in a movie like this, like being able to like be that like constant, just strong point throughout the whole thing is really impressive.
I agree. Yeah, I think watching it for like the third time, just her performance in the context of things sometimes is like, I didn't even notice that the first time because I didn't even think about like where this is in the story. So yeah, I do back that as well. Obviously, she was my first pick as well. I don't know how she wasn't nominated for an Oscar. That is complete bullshit. Excuse my language, but that's actually bad from the Academy. This is her best performance I've seen. I haven't seen her in everything, but she's pretty dang good. I just think she's so subtly emotional at times. It is hard to describe how good she is in this movie. She's emotionally just like unbelievable. I feel like at conveying just these subtle things. It's something I would consider, more of an art form than acting. I think she really did nail this role, and like you said, I don't think anybody else could do any better. So yeah, good casting, great performance from Amy Adams. She's definitely my number one actor. I also did want to throw out Jeremy Renner. He deserves some recognition. He doesn't have a ton to do. But yeah, going back to that line, I did actually write it down a little bit. The line of, he spent his whole life looking up at the stars, but, when the aliens arrived, the only person who really blew him away was Amy Adams. I thought that was a great line. That was his most emotional line, probably. And I thought he did pretty well with that. I'm sure you're going to pick him for worst actor. Because there's nobody else to pick, really. But I'm going to give him a shout out. So.
Going back to Amy Adams, I think she's definitely better in Justice League. That's her best performance. But
Snyder Cut or Joss Whedon?
Oh, obviously Joss Whedon, the superior movie, right?
Of course. If you said Snyder Cut, I would have had to disagree with you.
Yeah. Well, she is pregnant in the Snyder Cut, so I guess there's that.
Yeah, you spoiled that on the podcast before. I still haven't watched the Snyder Cut, so you just spoiled it for a whole other season of people. Way to go!
Find 4 hours of your time and tell me you were gonna watch it. I doubt it happens. So,
well, yeah, we do that wrong. Let's hear your worst actor. Who can act?
Let me look up his name. Michael Stolberg. He is Agent Halpern. He is the CIA agent. I don't know. This dude's just like kind of all over the place with the performance because he's like trying to be like he's not really a CIA agent type. Like he doesn't seem like a suit or like an undercover. Like I feel like CIA agents are like kind of reserved and secretive, and like this dude's just kind of loud and obnoxious and just like really all over the top. And his purpose is basically just like disagree with everything that Amy Adams says. But I just don't really see like CIA with this dude. Maybe just random government official, I guess he plays, but I don't know. CIA doesn't really seem right for me. What do you think?
I agree. I think he's like one of the heads of the CIA too, so he should be. I think.
Yeah, he's like the director or something. Or
yeah,
I don't know.
This should be like some shifty
And he's also
shifty guy who I
young
don't-
too.
That is true. I did have him down on my list as well. Michael Stolberg. He's all right. He's not terrible. He is. Have you seen Call Me by Your Name? Surely you've seen that.
No, I have not, but I know
You have
he's in
not
it.
seen that? Oh man, he's the dad in that. He's actually really good.
Army Hammer's
Been-
kind of not in a great spot right now. So
I don't know. I don't know much about Army, but yeah, he's in that movie.
you
He's
don't
the
know about
dad.
Army Hammer?
What did he do? He had sex with somebody? I don't know.
Nah, he like said he wanted to like eat people.
Oh, cool.
He's like a cannibal.
Interesting from Army there. Yeah, that's not what I've expected you to say. Fair enough, I guess. Don't eat me, but fair enough. Yeah, no, but that guy, he's the dad in Call Me by Your Name to Timmy Chalamet, and he's
Gotcha.
actually really good in that. You should watch that movie. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, he's pretty shit. I also had Forrest Whitaker down. Is he bad? No.
Anybody else
seen him-
could have played the role.
Yes. Have I
Probably
seen
better.
him be a lot better? Yes. Forrest Whitaker is a very, very good actor. And, this isn't really a role for him to shine, but he definitely could have been better. So I had him down as who can act as well. But yeah, those are my only two. I mean, this cast is tiny, so it's hard to, if you're not going to go after the main two, it's hard to pick on people. But yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, Forrest Whitaker would have been my second choice. I didn't write anyone else down, but that's good. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the recast. And we're back. Moving on to the recast.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Actually, I have quite a few little options here.
You go first. I only have one.
Well, first of all, I'd like to replace Jeremy Renner.
That's fair. I was thinking about that.
So I've got two choices here. First one is I tried to pick someone kind of. First of all, Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner are both kind of like older in this movie, which is it's a little strange for the story for them to like then have a kid, but like I guess Amy Adams was like 41. No. She would have been like 42 when this came out. He would have been like 45 when this came out. So still on the older side for kind of the roles they're playing. But my first pick is Will Smith.
Maybe.
I think throw a little comedy in there. A little lighter tone. Will Smith is more handsome, and I think Will Smith also seems smarter. So he's better
That's
than
probably
Jeremy
true.
Renner in every way.
He
so.
does seem a lot smarter. Isn't he
And
older? Isn't he like 50?
Yeah,
he
Jeremy
like-
Renner's 50 right now, so I think they're like the
Oh.
same age.
Maybe. Who's your other
Um,
pick for that?
He's 52, so he's 2 years older than Jeremy Renner. But
Yeah. Too old.
my other pick if we're not going Will Smith, would be Zachary Levi.
Ugh. No, I'd probably veto that one.
He
Shazam.
he can play nerdy and goofy a little bit better than Jeremy Renner can. A little bit of a just a nerdy guy. I just want something a little bit nerdier.
What serious thing has Zachary Levi been in though? I don't even know. He's not a serious actor, is he?
Hey man,
He's in
Chuck.
Shazam. Yeah, Chuck. I can't name off his IMDb if I'm being honest. It's pretty sparse.
You got beef with Zachary Levi or something, bro? Like
I don't. I was just,
he plays Flynn in
yes.
Tangled.
That's true. All right, that's a very dramatic role.
He's in Thor: The
yeah.
Dark World.
Yeah, he was a replacement for one of the Warriors 3. That's actually embarrassing. But yeah, I don't mind Will Smith. Zachary Levi, yeah, I'd probably say pass on that. I just have one recast. I wanted to get rid of the CIA guy. And sort of like what we were saying, I wanted somebody who could like intimidate me a little bit. So I thought maybe give me somebody older. How about the good old fashioned My Cocaine?
Oh God, is he gonna be British?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
I don't think you can be the director of CIA and not be born in America. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you.
He's not the director. He's just a
I could be wrong.
He's just a high-ranking government official. In my new movie, and
We
yeah,
don't like Brits.
let's get a little bit of Nolan in this movie. Throw in My Cocaine, and I'll tell you what, his voice would just eat up that script. I think the CIA guy got maybe a better script than Forrest Whitaker, and he just had a terrible performance. So that's why I went after him. And yeah, I think Michael Caine, he'd bring a little bit of elegance and a little bit of British to this movie, which I think it needs. So yeah, that's my recast pick.
I've also got the CIA guy as a recast, and I'm gonna go with the classic G-Man choice in John Hamm. Who looks better in a suit? Nobody.
It's true.
Give me John Hamm. He can.
Who's better playing like an FBI agent than John Hamm?
Nobody.
Nobody.
It's
Nobody.
iconic. So CIA, FBI, same thing. He for me, because he's a little untrustworthy too. Like you never quite. He can play some shifty cops as well. So
he's shifty.
Yeah, you don't trust this guy, even though he works for the government. Like he might be the good guy, but I don't know. Maybe he's the bad guy. I think John Hamm is the perfect one for that role.
That's a good pick. I'll give you props there.
Thank
How about
you.
we move Michael Caine to Forrest Whitaker's role, and then we put John Hamm in for CIA guy.
That might be better.
I think that's decent.
Or
decent recasting from us.
We put Tommy Lee Jones in for Forrest Whitaker.
I feel like this was made for Tommy Lee Jones, and he just didn't end up wanting to do it.
Honestly, it seems like a Tommy Lee Jones role.
Yeah, that seems like most of his roles, where he's sort of just like this disgruntled government agent, just like putting people on a project, and he has to oversee it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I kind of don't want to see that just because he's done it so
many
times. Tommy Lee, baby, classic.
Who? What about oh God, what's this dude's name? What about Kurt Russell?
You can't remember Kurt Russell's name? I don't know. He's so bad in the Fast movies. I don't want to put him in anything.
Exactly. He plays Mr. Nobody.
I know. He's so bad at them too. Him and Scott Eastwood. Oh man, what a terrible duo. I did work myself around to watch The Fate of the Furious, and they are in it a lot. Those two guys, just unbearable on screen.
Shout out Scott.
Let's just throw in Scott Eastwood too at this point, dude. If you're getting Kurt Russell, you got to get Scott Eastwood.
Well, what about Clint?
Nah, Clint's too old.
Scott Eastwood can play the Trump supporter. Army guy. The conspiracy theorist.
Cool. Give him a little serious role, I guess.
Yeah, there we go. Would you rather have Lawrence Fishburne play Forrest Whitaker's role?
I do like me some Lawrence Fishburne. I feel
Dude,
like
Boys in the Hood, Lawrence Fishburne, so good.
I haven't seen that actually. I feel like Forrest Whitaker is a very good actor though, but he just didn't do very well in this movie. So yeah, I guess I would recast him, and that is a good pick. But I feel like you got to give Forrest Whitaker a chance here if he's like supposedly excited about the role. But it just didn't seem like he was excited about it at all.
Tell him to get his stuff together and try again. He can be in the sequel that we'll talk about here in a second. But first, we're going to go welcome to the Academy.
There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won.
First of all, great picks all around for our recasting. That
was a great recast. That was a great recast.
Welcome to the Academy. Kody, what awards should this movie win in your fictional Academy?
I'm going to start off serious here. I do think that Amy Adams should have won for Best Actress. And yeah, she should have won, and she wasn't even nominated, which is, a little frustrating in hindsight, but it is what it is. I also think I think it's close for Best Director that year. It was Damien Chazelle who won it for La La Land, which I haven't seen. But also Barry Jenkins was up for Moonlight. So that was a tough year for Best Director, if I'm being honest, and he probably didn't have much of a chance being, sort of newer on the scene. Those were some obviously very good movies. I think Barry Jenkins was around personally, but I do think Denis had a case over Denis Villeneuve. I mean, not over Damien Chazelle. Similar names.
Yeah, I don't think La La Land's that great, but so I would definitely put him as my number 2 pick there.
Would you have Barry Jenkins before him or after him?
Probably after or before him. I mean, I would have given the award to Barry Jenkins, and
I agree.
I definitely think her performance is better than Emma Stone's in La La Land. I think Emma Stone's great, but I would give her Best Actress
think she should be nominated nonetheless. I mean, yeah, even if you're not going to give it to her, she has to be nominated, I think.
I'm gonna be honest, like I have Emma Stone in La La Land is the only performance I've seen of these other ones of these Best Actress nominations. So
yeah, same.
I can't speak on them necessarily, but
I have seen this movie though, and
I have seen this movie and she's good. So, and the thing is, if she wins this award, maybe she stops making like really bad Oscar baity movies like Hillbilly Elegy. So her career would be on a better path.
Exactly. I feel like
just won her Oscar.
That is true. She deserved it. So
I'm gonna give this movie Best Fictional Language. There's some classics out there. I know you're a big fan of Star Trek.
Well, that was my pick. That was my next pick. Best fake language. You gotta get it.
Is this better than Klingon, Cody?
Oh yeah.
What about Dothraki or whatever the Game of Thrones language is?
What about Na'vi from Avatar?
Ooh, that's a good one. Elvish from Lord of the Rings, or
I was gonna say that next.
Yeah. So I think they obviously don't speak it, but in terms of like, first of all, they designed like an entire language just for this movie, a written language, and the uniqueness of it and the way that it plays into the actual plot with their way their mind works and everything kind of being a circle is a super unique idea, and I think it fits perfectly. And it's definitely the best use of the language, because it's not even just like kind of a gimmicky thing where it's like, oh, they speak another language and we've made it up just so it seems like a immersive world. Like this is actually a pivotal plot point.
I agree completely. That was my second Oscar, Best Fake Language. I think it is the most creative thing I've seen in a movie in a while. What you touched on is the circle and the old time thing also makes a whole lot of sense. I think it is also cool. It's not like a spoken language. It's just straight up written. You can't really speak it. It's just there, and you have to answer back in the same way. I think that's pretty dope. And I do think it's the best out of all those fake languages we mentioned. I also did want to bring up Wakandan. That is some pretty cool hieroglyphics or whatever. They're not hieroglyphics, but you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I do think it's the best fictional fake language. So you kind of stole my Oscar there, but I'm not too mad about it. So yeah, kind of tough.
Thank you.
Great minds think alike, I guess.
Yeah,
that is very strange. That's the first time it's ever happened. Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and take the next one, since I stole the last one for me? You got any left?
I don't have any Oscars left. All I had was Best Actress,
Pulled the rug
Best
out
Director, and Best Fake Language. Yeah.
My last one is just Best Spaceship Design. I think this is probably like one of the coolest spaceships just in any form of media. I think the District 9 spaceship is also very well done. I really enjoy that movie, but the spaceship is very against type, and it's just completely unlike anything I'd seen previously. And I think it's a really great testament of just being able to create like that visual language for this film, and very much the style they're going for and the aesthetic. Throughout the whole thing, whether it's like just the fog with the spaceship floating above the sky and floating slightly off the ground, like just all that together is just like really sick to me. So yeah, best spaceship.
I really like the movement of the spaceship too. Sort of it's not crazy, but it's very slow and it's very like drawn out. I feel like when it turns horizontally, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, the design is also done masterfully well. Anything visual in this movie, I think, is just hands and above the best part of it. And there is also like story behind it as well, which I think is a great combo. Yeah, I do think it is probably the best spaceship design. I'll give you that.
All right, now we're gonna move on to our weird movie details trivia.
Naked grandma. Naked, huh?
I'll say right off the top that you did take my first question. It was gonna be, what does Louise say in Mandarin to General Shang? And the answer, of course, is, in war there are no winners, only widows. I did have some options that I'd like to share with you. The other options were,
I'd love to hear.
The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Okay. In peace, sons bury their fathers. In war, fathers bury their sons.
Wow, that's deep.
Thank you. So those would
come up with that on your own?
No, I looked like war quotes up.
I was gonna say that's a hell of a quote to pull out of your ass. But
so, how many questions you got though?
I have two. One of
Okay,
them's
so
pretty easy.
I just wrote another one, so I also have two. So why don't you go ahead and get started with the questions now?
All right. Yeah, the first one's a gimme. Basically, I just want. It is hard to find details in this movie, I think. But yeah, I asked, what was their daughter's who ended up dying? What was her
Hannah.
name? And then wait, there's a hint. It's a palindrome. Do you know what a palindrome is, Corbin?
Yeah, it's like race car. It's no word is the same forward and backwards. Which you're talking about the music at the end. That is also actually a palindrome. Like that piece of music that they wrote. It's the same forwards and backwards. So yeah,
I did not. That is a cool detail. But yeah, that was a layup. I just love that detail of the palindrome. It's very strange, but in the circle of the movie, I think it's great. So yeah, that was my first question. Good job, 1 for 1.
All right, my first question. This is adapted from a book called Story of Your Life. One thing they changed in that is the way their daughter dies. So in the book, she actually lives to be 25 years old. And then she dies in an accident. Was it an accident while A, mountain climbing, B, horseback riding, C, parasailing, D, piloting a plane?
Wow.
You can see why they changed it.
Yeah, I'm never gonna get this in a million years.
Because it'd be pretty terrible if you knew like your daughter was gonna like die, like drown, and you were just like, oh, go swimming. Like that's a lot worse.
I feel like you could stop
like
that
her
probably.
getting a disease that you can't prevent. So, but which one do you think it is?
That's a tough question. I would guess it's not mountain climbing because that just sounds stupid. What were the last two?
Sounds like something I would write. Parasailing and piloting a plane.
Piloting a plane. I'm gonna nail it down to those two for some reason. Just because they seem more dangerous than whatever the other one was.
Horseback riding.
Yeah, horseback riding. I don't think it's that one either. I'm gonna say parasailing just because that sounds legit. So yeah, we're gonna go with it. Go with my gut.
It was in fact actually mountain climbing.
What?
She died at 25 in a mountain climbing accident. So
what is she doing mountain climbing that's so dangerous? They have like
I don't know.
wires and
Maybe
stuff
she was
so they don't
climbing
fall?
Everest. People die all the time. People die yearly climbing mountains.
Fair enough. I'm glad they changed that. That's really stupid. It's not as dumb as horseback riding though. Yeah. So my other weird trivia question. It's a doozy. I don't know if you're gonna get this one. It's gonna be tough. So yeah, there were 12 locations where the aliens dropped, and I'm gonna spell out 5 possible locations, and you're gonna have to tell me which 2 are the actual correct ones. Another fun detail of the movie, I tried to look it up on why the 12 ships landed where they were, and nobody could give me a great answer. And I love that. Here are the 5 locations. 2 of them are actually where they landed. We got Greenland, we got Venezuela, we've got South Africa.
Venezuela's one.
Okay. We got Cameroon, and we've got New Zealand. So I think Venezuela's one. So yeah, we got Greenland, South Africa, Cameroon, and New Zealand.
So I know there's Venezuela because they have like the video of the protests happening there. So I'm gonna lock in Venezuela.
That is correct.
The thing is, so I know there's one in Sudan, in Africa, because they talk about it. So there's probably another one in Africa, or maybe another 2 in Africa. I mean, you've got 12 across 7 continents. And Africa is a pretty large one. But I feel like Greenland is also, but people aren't really there. So like who even lives in Greenland? Polar bears? I don't know. Penguins? One of the 2.
Right, because it's all ice. It's the reverse thing with Iceland.
Yeah, it's ice.
Iceland's nice and Greenland's not. Yeah.
Exactly. So I know there's one in China. I know there's one in Pakistan.
Sacrifice my life for Pakistan.
I know there's 2 in Russia, actually, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's one in the Black Sea, and then there's one in
Siberia.
Siberia. I always forget the name of that place.
Okay, so I feel like I remember Australia like being up on the board. So I don't think there's one in New Zealand. So I'm gonna knock New Zealand off.
Okay.
So what do I have left? I have South Africa,
Cameroon and Greenland. Yeah.
don't really remember one being at the bottom of the map of Africa, but I feel like there has. I'm taking too
He's
much
really
time here.
milking it. He's milking it.
I'm gonna say Greenland. Final answer.
Oh, that's correct. Wow.
Thank you.
You really worked that one out, and you went against your brain, I think, and it works. Yeah,
No, because I remember the map, and there wasn't one like in South Africa.
Exactly, which I thought was strange when looking at the map, because I figured there would have been 2 in Africa. That's why I put 2 African places on here to try to throw you off. But yeah, you did well.
Maybe.
I also put Greenland and Venezuela as the first 2 to try to throw you off in the multiple choice of 5. But I can't get anything past you, I guess. So, you're 2 for 2 on weird movie trivia this week. Congrats.
All right. I don't know if you'll either definitely get this one. There's no multiple choice. You either know it or you don't. So
right. Let's hear it.
What famous skit did the comedians Abbott and Costello perform that serves as the basis for their names?
Come on, you don't think I know this, dude? Who's on first? Come on.
Yeah,
dude.
we go.
That's classic baseball.
That is a classic.
Conjecture there. Great question, but pretty easy stuff. So I was 1 for 2, right? Yeah, I got the first one wrong. That's kind of tough.
Yeah, well, you could give yourself 2 for 3 since you knew the answer to the first one.
I'll take it.
All right, pitch time. I'm gonna start here, okay?
Go for it. I have a terrible pitch.
I got a whole spiel.
Oh, I'm excited.
3,000 years in the future, a more advanced human race must go out and save the heptapods from extinction. Their mysterious home planet, far off in the stars, has a supervolcano that is erupting, and the humans are tasked with finding somewhere new for the heptapods to live. They must travel out into the stars, a little interstellar vibes there. These movies have a lot in common. And then, that's about as far as I got. But, some hijinks ensue.
I like that.
There's some callbacks, some games. You know how it goes. And then, of course, the title of the movie is going to be Departure.
This is unbelievable, dude. I think you just stole my notes. All right. Yeah.
That's a gimme, Cody. Come on. We're not that original.
On to my pitch. Yeah, we have the title of Departure. It is, it's 3,000 years in the future, and it's time for the humans to help the aliens. I do want to entirely new cast because I don't really want them to touch this movie at all. So you know who I'm hiring as, the main man going to help him out? Take a wild guess.
Someone's gonna help him out. Your main man, Dave Bautista.
Yes, Dave Bautista is the colonel.
If Denis directs this, they work together on Blade Runner.
2049.
So they got connections. They're homies.
Exactly. Dave Bautista's, leading the mantle, but he's also got Florence Pugh there as his the new lead linguistic expert.
Big up and comer.
So yeah, we got a good cast. I can't believe we both got Departure as well. That's kind of weird. But yeah, I feel like it is very hard to pitch this movie. If I'm being honest, I don't want to see anything else from this universe. I think this is a perfect standalone, and it doesn't really need to be touched. If Denis, says let's do another one, I'm not going to tell him no. But I really don't think he will. But yeah, Departure is evidently it's going to be made because we both pitched it. So
the other thing is like
that's crazy.
If you're gonna like turn it into a series, you could do like let me see, like what's happening in Greenland for like an episode, and like everything and then like they all build to like the same point where they like to discover. But the thing is, this movie is like very American centric, where it's like they're really the only ones that matter in their point of view. So if you could somehow tie in like the important discoveries that are different places are making, all the political unrest that's happening, and create something cohesive as a story, that would be interesting. But I think this movie serves better as like the individual. It's not like the alien story is important, but also like it's about like Amy Adams's character and like her daughter and her relationship, and like the way 100%. That all fits together is what really makes this great. So
yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
No.
Yeah, I think that is a decent idea actually, of like just making like an anthology series, seeing off the first contacts the other 11 spaceships, that's not a terrible idea, and I would probably watch
Have,
that.
Filmmakers from different countries, direct the episodes, have people, actors famous from those places, different styles, stuff like that would be interesting.
Put it in their language and everything. Yeah, no, I think it's a pretty good idea. Probably the best one we could pitch for this movie. So yeah, good shots there, boy.
All right, now we'll move on to our ratings.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong? It's my favorite.
I'll get us started. Out of 69, I'm going to give this movie the third highest rating.
Oh,
64 out of 69.
wow. That's pretty high for you there, dude.
I know I don't seem super hype when I talk about this movie, but I do like this movie a lot. Like, I think it's one that's really great to like just show people that I've never seen before. So maybe just like pure rewatchability. Like, I don't know, you need some space in between each rewatch, but like if you've got that space, and especially if you're watching with someone for the first time, like experiencing it with another person is like makes it really great. So it's a 5-star for me on Letterboxd, and 64 out of 69.
It's a very high rating from you. Yeah. Don't know if I expected that high, but definitely like it. I think this will be my highest rated movie we've done so far. I don't remember what I did Moonlight for. I think I put it at 67.
Yes, you did.
Regardless of that, I'm going to give this a 68 out of 69, which is a very, very bold score. I'm not claiming this movie's perfect. I'm sure people, don't like this movie a lot, but I don't know. It's just something I, emotionally connected with, and I think it is my favorite movie after watching it for the third time. So yeah, 68 to 69. I kind of do want to show this movie to my mom as well. She loves like the sci-fi, soapy shit. So I'm sure she'd bawl her eyes out with me if we watch it together.
My mom was crying at the end of this stuff, man.
Oh yeah, it's some heavy stuff, dude. Well, I'm a crier, and I'll cry.
I don't think it's that sad, to be honest with you. I'm being real.
So sad.
I don't think it's.
I could watch this movie. I could watch the movie 100 times and cry every time. And I could not say about any other form of media. So yeah, 68 out of 69. That's pretty dang up there. That
puts us at this being our tied for our podcast's favorite movie. So Moonlight and this are both 66s. So pretty good, pretty decent. I'll take
pretty good
that.
Movies there. Yeah.
So now we'll do some recommendations. Kody, why don't you get us started? What you've been watching recently? Got anything you want people to check out?
I've been watching some stuff, just some little stuff. I've started 30 Rock because it came back on Netflix. Good show. I like what's his face? Alec Baldwin and what's that guy's name? Tracy Jordan.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. That's it. I like Tracy Morgan a lot. Actually, I think he's really funny. I also just finished season 4 of Breaking Bad. And it's pretty damn good. I think season 3 and season 4 are a couple of my favorite seasons of TV that I've seen. I was surprised when I saw there was another season. I have watched the first couple episodes. It's all right. I think they probably could end it at season 4. It would have been just as good because I thought that was kind of a perfect ending. I'm excited to watch the rest. Also, by the time this is out, I'm sure the new Spider-Man trailer will be out. But did you see it got leaked like crazy like last night?
Yeah, so last night we were like on the train platform waiting for the train, and I saw it got leaked, but I was like, this is such low quality, and I just didn't want to watch it. Yeah, it was really bad. I started it and I was like, I'd rather just wait. It'll be out soon. So
I would assume it will be out tonight. So by the time you're hearing us talk about it, it'll be long gone. But I thought that was really funny from Marvel. The day before they're going to release a trailer, probably it leaks in like the lowest, definition.
It was like
a
time. Recording of a phone that was a recording of a phone. But I don't know.
A bad look for Marvel, I think.
People were pretty hyped. We can blame Sony for this one, right?
I mean, this movie comes out in like what, 3 months, and there isn't a trailer for it.
Comes out December 17th, I think.
Which is unbelievable from Marvel. I mean, yeah, that Batman movie trailer, it came out like a year ago, and we're not going to get that until like probably 2023.
That got some COVID delays though, and I don't know what
Obviously,
happened.
Yeah. I mean, COVID shut down Hollywood. Yeah, I just thought that was really funny. Marvel messed that up. But yeah, let's hear some of your recommendations.
Yeah, so this is actually we recorded the last podcast advance of the release. This is being recorded the night before.
Yeah.
So it's been like a week and a half, but
It's been a while.
funny enough, from today, I hadn't watched a movie in like a week. It had been 7 days since I had last watched a movie, which is probably the
Wow.
longest I've gone this entire year with not watching a movie, for being entirely honest. But I had watched the first part of Twilight, and then I just really needed a couple of days to sit with that. You know, you got to think about part one. Sorry, I watched part one of the finale of Twilight, so Breaking Dawn part one. I just really had to think about that, you know, and how that impacted me. It was pretty deep stuff. So no, I was really busy. I went to a concert this weekend that was a lot of fun. So, but prior to that, I did check out a movie called Free Guy, and I think I told Kody that I liked it a lot, but I can't recommend this movie enough. This is my favorite movie that has come out this year, and I know.
Oh my god!
I know which I just said this like 2 podcasts ago, that my favorite movie had just come out, and it's probably going to keep happening with everything that's coming out in the next couple weeks. But this movie is just absolutely a lot of fun. Like probably top 3, probably my 3rd favorite theater experience of all time.
Wow.
Behind like Infinity War and Endgame, and just like the impact those had. There's a moment in this that legitimately had people cheering, and in the same way as Cap getting the hammer in Endgame. Like if you remember that moment in theaters, like when everyone's hyped, like there's a moment that's this movie where like
in Free Guy,
packed theater, Free Guy, night of release, it was hype, dude. It definitely has its issues. It's not a perfect movie, but there's some cringy like gamer stuff in this, but it's a lot of fun. I described it as a mixture of The Matrix, Ready Player One, Truman Show, Tron, and Her all together. Probably all those movies, other than maybe Ready Player One and Tron, are like better movies, but it does a good like amalgamation of all those different things. And there's some genuine laughs and some pretty fun cameos. Hugh Jackman makes a cameo. The Rock has a cameo. There's some others that I don't want to spoil, but Channing Tatum like plays a character for a couple scenes more than a cameo, but I was surprised when that happened. But no, yeah, Taika Waititi's great in this. Steve, Joe Keery from Stranger Things is pretty decent. So
I didn't know he's in that.
It's pretty fun, honestly. So I would definitely check it out, especially in theaters if you have a chance. They also did a cool thing where they had a lot of like real like YouTubers and streamers like play themselves in the movie, because it's like supposed to be like this video game thing is happening in real life, and obviously you'd have these famous YouTubers, streamers like reacting to it as it's happening. So they have
KSI.
Nah, it was like they had
That's disappointing.
Jacksepticeye and like Pokimane and
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie did not show up. I think he is kind of on the outs, but Laserbeam showed up.
Oh, Laserbeam.
And some kid in the back of the theater yelled, "Oh my god, it's Laserbeam!" Kind of cringy, but it was an all in all fun time. So that's my main recommendation. Go check out Free Guy. I know it might look a little stupid, but and if you want to really contemplate your life for a week, watch Breaking Dawn Part 1.
I'll make sure to check both those out. Thanks for the recommendation.
Thank you. 2 top tier movies right there. So
exactly.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of our what is this? Our 8th episode? I don't even know.
The season? I believe it's episode 6, but I could be way off.
That's probably more accurate, but this is great podcasting. This is episode 7.
Is it?
Episode 7.
Oh yeah, it probably is. I probably just skipped over the draft in my notes. Yeah, you're probably right.
Episode 7 of the pod. We're gonna come back with episode 8. It's my pick. I don't know what I'm picking yet though, so I got to figure that out. And just stay tuned for the surprise. Maybe it'll be something fun. I definitely want to pick a movie that's not great.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just realized we're releasing this tomorrow, right? So I was talking like we were gonna release it in a week. I don't know why I was doing that. So maybe the Spider-Man trailer won't be out tomorrow. So
I thought you were like, I was like, you were like, it's releasing tonight. I was like, I don't know about that.
I think it is. It's releasing tonight or tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, talk about it next podcast.
If that comes out, we'll do a review.
You picking a National Treasure?
I
1
definitely
or
want to
2
pick
for your
something
next movie?
that's a little bit. We've been picking good movies recently. I want to bring us down in quality a little bit. So
This is my season to pick just great movies, I think. I picked Terminator 2 off the bat, which is still a good movie. I think my next one I'm going The Prestige, dude. I'm just taking all the bangers this season.
I mean, I've picked like of my
You
2
picked
picks,
very
I've
good
picked
movies.
like 2 of my favorite movies.
Exactly.
So I gotta pick something that's not as good. So all right, we've
Fair
droned
enough.
on for long enough.
If you're still
capping.
listening, yeah, stay capping. We love you guys.
Probably reconsider how you spend your time if you're still listening
Yeah.
at this point.
I would back that.
Stay capping. We'll see you
Peace.
next week. Peace.
Adios.